Today we're going to be interviewing a Dogecoin kid, Lisa from Up Worldwide. And today we have the beautiful Miss from Crypto here tonight with us. Today we have Ken Bozak.
Foundation, Rarible, OpenSea, and Charged Particles.
Speaking from a Gen Z's perspective.
So why do these people buy this
collection? I work with an artist out of...
Wait till you see my other outfits.
Hey everyone, City Girl here to welcome you to Yummy NFTs. Thank you all for coming out tonight to learn about some new NFT initiatives. Before we get started with our guest tonight, I just wanted to share something interesting that's happening with you this month. The world of NFTs, many of you have heard of Bored Ape Yacht Club, the biggest NFT collection groups on the blockchain. Two food entrepreneurs, Andy Nguyen and Kevin Seo, who started the first Bored Ape restaurant called Bored and Hungry, last week a restaurant group called Food Fighters Universe. It's an NFT collection of 10,000 unique tokens on the ETH blockchain, connecting Web3 and food in real life. These are utility tokens like we heard about last week from our guest Dill. Will be exclusive perks to owning them, and 1% of the revenue from all of these NFTs will be donated to fight world hunger through charities. It's pretty interesting. It's amazing that that is stretching this far right now. And to learn, if you wanted to learn more about this, please visit foodfightersuniverse.com. It's pretty cool, and you can maybe get some information on what some of the imagery is going to look like. Not all of our guests are actually doing the graphic design of NFTs or recording music NFTs. Sometimes they're involved with NFTs in that they facilitate the creation and marketing of them and offer a direction for getting NFTs out into the community. Please join me in welcoming our guest, Gabrielle from Binge Digital with Around Hearts. Welcome, Gabrielle.
Thanks, everybody. Love the hearts. Appreciate everybody here.
So now your title is Fractional CMO and co-founder of Binge Digital. For our guests who might not know, does this mean that you offer chief marketing officer services to multiple companies without them actually hiring you full-time, but you're giving them all those services under like a service contract, and therefore that makes you fractional?
Yeah, that's correct. Exactly as you said, it really is. I'm a fractional chief marketing officer for multiple companies. It varies contract to contract, whether that's fractional of the time, fraction of maybe particular shares, or fraction of bandwidth and the kind of energy and outputs that are inputted into what the roles and responsibilities are. So you nailed it.
And your firm offers marketing resources to impact-only brands. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, I guess it really derives from leaving the corporate world and creating an agency. You really wanted to make sure that marketing didn't continue to feel icky, which was our experience in the corporate space. And in creating Binge Digital, wanting to work with companies that were here to do good for the planet and not continuing to represent companies that we didn't personally have an invested interest in. And so when we decided to create the company, we said, okay, only companies that are really here to do good, are here to make a social impact, products that we would use at home, services we would actually invest into ourselves. And so that's where the tagline really came from, was impact brands, only brands that are here to make a social impact.
Such a great value to go by. Your background is in PR and marketing and business development, but you've chosen to bring those skills and branding capabilities into Web3 and the art industry, correct?
Yep, that's correct. I guess what really helped me enter this space is my partner really dove into NFTs from being an investor into crypto, and as a, I guess, female entrepreneur, I really wanted to figure out the ways in which I could continue to empower myself, develop my skill set, understand what Web3 meant to companies like the ones we work with, which are predominantly e-commerce, And now it's a great time in history where a lot of e-commerce companies are understanding what Web3 means to them and how they would continue to leverage the capabilities of the different tech that's being built. So, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of your Web3 and NFT projects. If you don't mind, let's start with the Afro Zero, which is
Yeah.
some of these pictures you see around the room here came from that NFT marketplace.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So Afro Zero is symbol to the far left. Some of these actually are projects on the Afro Zero platform. For example, that big mushroom on the far right back there, it's a project called Heaven on Earth, and it's done by the founder who partnered up with one of the e-commerce companies I work with, which is called Oasis Adaptogens. Oasis provides functional mushrooms to modern day stress, to all the things that we face in our overstimulated society, and I guess, for a lack of a better way to say it, our stress society and the different ways that we face stress. But Afro Zero and the Oasis collaboration has been just one of the many projects that fall under the Afro Zero marketplace. For Zero is centered around the African diaspora, bringing essentially to light the different ways that artists have been affected by the African diaspora. And so we choose to spotlight artists of all kinds. We've got graphic designers, we've got various visual artists, but also music artists, essentially. We've got a poet, the far left in the back corner with the blue um, icon or avatar there. That was our first drop on the Afro Zero platform. And that was done by Shelley Bruce, a poet. And so as we continue to build Afro Zero, it's still a startup. We're still figuring out what the impact is going to look like for us. For the most part, it is how can we bring to light what the African diaspora means to African Americans specifically, and bring African Americans on things like trips, mission trips, bring them back to their roots to get an idea of where they come from, and kind of put them back in touch with what that means for them, as far as like their ancestral energy and so forth. So that's a little bit about Afro Zero. But if you head to our website, afrozero.com, you'll be able to see a lot more information about it.
Now, this marketplace, does it function similarly to like an OpenSea or a Rarible, one of those where they can go on and they can put up imagery, music, all the different mediums up onto there? And how does it, what is it running on right now? How is it functioning for everyone?
So right now we're actually just using Artiva, which is an application that functions similarly to how you would be able to use the marketplace on OpenSea, but there isn't as much custom solution. So we're trying to build out the platform ourselves, and create our own, I guess, form of a blockchain. But it's a pretty progressive plan that is requiring a lot more research. So kind of at this point where we're a little bit on pause and making sure that we have all the functionalities that we want to invest into, all the logistics in place to accommodate that. We do have 100+ artists right now on the back end, just kind of waiting for their application to be approved. But essentially, what we want to do is to be free to all, where you don't necessarily need to be approved, but be on multiple sectors, and fall under a category of whether you're a visual artist or music artist, able to make it easier for the user to kind of sift through the marketplace. So figuring out those kind of UX UI logistics still.
Okay. And for the visitors that go to the site, they're able to purchase and and save these into their NFT wallets, like just like any other marketplace.
Yep, that's correct.
Perfect. Okay. So you also, we talked a little bit about, you have a few other programs that you're working on as well. And one of them that I was actually really interested in, I actually downloaded it today and played around with it for a little bit, is Teleport. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Teleport's really fun. We just got onboarded with Teleport. What I think is amazing about Teleport is you have this opportunity to come at it from every angle. You can be a creator and an artist, but you can also approach it and make use of the platform universally, like a brand owner or founder, just any user that wants to display your assets in a metaverse or a virtual reality. So there's going to be there is a mobile application where you're able to enter the metaverse and show everybody your assets, and it connects directly to your wallet. So let's say I've got this like Board 8 Club NFT and I kind of want to show it off. Well, I can create a whole space, much like this room, and show it to people through my mobile application. So that's one of the greatest functionalities it has to offer. I think that great thing about that is it helps people that are not entirely familiar with metaverse spaces and help them kind of onboard and integrate into this new reality. But there are so many other great capabilities and functionalities behind Teleport that the founder is continuing to build. And so yeah, I would love for everybody to kind of check it out and maybe ask me questions because there's so many layers to it. I don't really know where to begin. The founder could probably speak to it the best.
I like I said, I did download it and I started playing around with it a little bit. I saw that there were portals, there was NFTs, there was different areas of it to look at. So do you see this as something that, within your marketing business that you would actually use to promote other clients and things like that? And actually it could tie in to Afro Zero and that you could, show the NFT marketplace through this app.
Yes, exactly. For any brand or business, being able to reach people at a faster speed or at a wider scale, I guess you could say, would be the best benefit because then we can create a whole space for that company like Afro Zero or Oasis Adaptogens and show all the different mushrooms and the education as an example for Oasis in a way that is easy for people where they don't have to show up to the retail location and like check all the different ingredients. Like all the education would be available to them much like an in-store ability, but within this application, and then you can do a teleport as the company goes, where you can just jump into all of these different um, portals. So that's what's really exciting is you can kind of just go mall shopping in the application, which is really fun. Or see your doctor. Ideally, like maybe even have like practices in there. I always refer back to Oasis because we were looking to build out so many solutions where company has the ability to like offer herbalists to people that can't really leave the comfort of their home right now. Maybe they're ill and they need to speak to a doctor. But the replication of somewhat of a physical experience is really helpful. So you can basically jump into that virtual reality and experience it that way and get the education that you need in that session.
So interesting. And it just seems like things just keep growing and growing. And the capabilities as they're expanding is they're offering so much more to each individual client.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly. Yeah.
Meta Racers is a blockchain racing game where you can compete for monetary reward. Now, can you tell us a little bit about that and how that ties in?
Yeah, so I'm actually still continuing to onboard these guys, and capabilities to them are endless. Like many of these Web3 projects, the use of blockchain technology is allowing us to kind of work from scratch on so many creative ideas, which is so exciting. That when it comes to meta racers, I know that there's more that they do have to offer. I want to kind of preface with that, but what is really cool is yes, they're able to kind of stake and place bets in the metaverse, which is fun and gamify the experience. But you also have this opportunity to kind of build out your own racing cars as well. So they recently worked with, I want to say it was Soldier. There was a couple rappers that had asked for full custom experience of what their vehicle would look like essentially in the game. And it was really cool because it got to customize down to like the minute of details, which was really exciting. But that's correct. You're able to kind of stake and then also earn in the gamified experience.
Now, these vehicles, are they NFTs?
Yes, I believe they are NFTs. I think you also earn NFTs in the gamified experience as you're winning, or as you're winning essentially.
Okay, definitely something to check out. Now, where can people find
Yeah.
this if they wanted to look into it more?
I believe it's .com.
Okay. And you have a couple other projects that you were mentioning, Crystal Pets and Maverick Finance. Can you tell us a little bit about those?
Yeah, I'll start with Maverick Finance. Maverick Finance is a decentralized financial company, DeFi company that is based on the Tezos blockchain, and it allows you essentially to free up your assets. So right now, I guess for lack of a better way to say it, in the real world, we're able to go to a bank and ask to free up our assets, and there's a whole application process and waiting time, and sometimes there are barriers to just access the money that is your money sitting in their bank, which is really, it always fascinates me because they're holding what you own. So what Maverick allows you to do is able to free up your assets really quickly, like in the blockchain, and you're able to really trade off particular assets that will kind of act as collateral. And yeah, so I think that's the biggest benefit that I think worth speaking to is, instead of relying on banks and the current financial systems, we can just leverage protocols like Maverick. And then I can hop right into Crystal Pets too. Well, Crystal Pets is a fun one. Crystal Pets is an all-female run team that is really centered around creativity and sound healing. And so the founders really wanted to create an experience kind of like for these My Little Pony. I don't know if anybody gets the reference, these like pony uh, animal pets that we were able to use back in like the 90s and the early 2000s that take care of, kind of like a Tamagotchi as well. But what was really cool is they wanted to put a healing component behind everything and an empowering component where you can associate and identify with whatever pet you would like that they have offered up as NFTs, and there would be associated different utility to each NFT that really empowers you to continue, I guess, becoming more into you as a person. So there would be an NFT, for example, that is all about your emotional well-being, and as you invest in that, they would come up with maybe therapeutic sessions, different for you to meet with women that may be in similar situations as you.
Is she talking? I think we might be experiencing a little technical difficulty.
Yeah, then she froze.
Yep.
Oh,
And
no.
she's gone. Battery died.
Sorry about that. So sometimes that happens in alt space. There's a little technical difficulty. I think she's re-entering though right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, that's not what a protocol is. You got protocol messed up. You're muted.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay. There you go.
Can you hear me okay?
Now we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Sorry about that. There's a little technical difficulty here. Okay. So I think what we're experiencing here is a lot of different ways that NFTs are being utilized amongst several different platforms and different ways that that companies are now marketing using these NFTs for their benefit.
Yeah, that's correct.
Would you say that, like, obviously within your organization, you're targeting a very specific community for your work, but these applications and the utility of these different NFTs could be utilized in any business, essentially.
People haven't.
Yeah,
heard of
absolutely. I
either.
would agree. I think that the great thing right now is we have a lot of creative freedom, but we also have a lot of responsibility. And I mean that in the best way possible, where we have the flexibility to curate how we leverage the technology and how we are, yes, maybe bringing light more visibility around social impact initiatives, but also how we choose to progress and innovate. So it's super exciting that you can use this pretty much on any level as an artist or as a business owner. So yeah.
And if people might be interested in collaborating with you or hiring your services, what's the best way for them to reach you? Would it be on your Instagram, or what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, I would say go to the link in my bio. You can book a call with me anytime so that we can just chit chat and get to know each other and talk about ways that we might be of service to one another. And it's Binge Digital, BINGEDIGITAL, like on the wall here. Binge Instagram.
Okay. So at this
See
time, we're
someone-
going to enable the raise hand feature for anybody who might have a question they want to ask of Gabrielle. So Blue, if you could please set that up. And if you'd all take a moment to please rate this event, we appreciate you giving us a 5 to help keep our event alive. And also don't forget to send us a DM on our Instagram so that you can get your free NFT POAP for tonight's episode. Okay, do we have any questions? Let's see, we do have one.
Was that me?
Danielle? Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. It's nice to meet you, somebody from the NFT community. I've been watching NFTs for a while, and maybe you can get a little bit to know me. I'm a white hat hacker, and I go after scams and stuff like that. And I've been really interested in NFTs, especially with all the scandal and theft and all that kind of stuff. So I've been working with some friends to kind of bring down the networks and steal stuff and basically completely destroy any worth in NFTs. And I thought, like, maybe you can tell me, one, you use protocol incorrectly, and that's not how a protocol is. A program is not a protocol, but that's okay. Fine.
Thank you for the
fine. Maybe you're
correction.
not a coder.
Thank you.
but-
Appreciate you.
But mostly right now, everybody's running away from NFTs. 3 or 4 games companies have been actually turning around and running the opposite direction because of how completely cancerous NFTs have become. Why would you come into a game and sell yourself with NFTs? That doesn't make any sense. Please.
Could you clarify the question a little bit about why somebody would enter and use NFTs? Just
Yeah,
that latter
because-
half there.
If you come into a game that is primarily like this, right? Knowing that the gaming community basically despises NFTs and in-game currency transfers and all that kind of stuff, why would you come into
yes.
a game and go, I am all about NFTs?
Yeah, great question. I guess it goes back to the maybe authentication part. I mean, you would probably know best and be able to speak to this, but I'll answer
I
this
wrote my
to the
own
best that I
NFT.
can.
I wrote my own blockchain, so I know how trustless
Yeah.
systems work and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't work
Perfect.
that way. It doesn't work the way you think it works.
I mean, I'm not an expert at gaming, so it's very tricky to say, especially Web3 gaming, and I'm still learning.
All
But
spaces in a game.
me, it sounds like or the opportunity behind it is what people are interested in, and I can understand and resonate why a gamer may face that as something and see it as something negative. It sounds like that's where it leans into is not only are people monopolizing, but if I were to find the reasons there might be some social good behind it, is probably the authentication part. And maybe there are ways to verify different gamers enter the gaming atmosphere because you do also have people that are scammers in the gaming atmosphere, is my guess. You know, you've got people that are trying to cheat or come up with different cheat codes, and maybe this is a way to authenticate who is doing what. But I'd love that to be a collaborative answer, really, and maybe you could educate me on that.
I also like to interject here that, Altspace isn't really a game, it's a social app. And there's a lot of different reasons why people use NFTs, and where there might be downfalls on some ends of it, there's also positives that come from it as well. Depends on what the application is.
Yeah, that's a great point because social applications are there's this fine line between the social applications and gaming applications because then you're able to make friends and have this social atmosphere with different benefits to it, but you also have this whole gamified experience where winning and competition is involved. So that's a great point.
Networking.
I'd love to give you the space to definitely share with us if there is any other information about gaming that you'd like to share, especially if you feel that it does adversely affect the gaming experience. Tease.
Did you turn back mine?
I hear you.
What was the question again? I'm sorry. I was trying to be quiet over here so I didn't interfere with the next person,
Oh, no worries. I was just saying I'd love to give you the space also to respond to that if you do feel there's any information you want to share with us about how NFTs adversely affect gaming, because I would love that education for sure.
It doesn't add anything. So how the blockchain works and how it verifies this kind of stuff, right? A trustless system, the community, the nodes in the network all have the same hash table, right? And if you put in information and she puts in information, we can know that your information is definitely not, it hasn't been attacked by a man in the middle. It hasn't, been altered, because if it was altered on the way to being added to the blockchain, it would have an incorrect hash at the very end. Everybody could immediately see that whatever information you put in is incorrect. It didn't work. And we can verify that you're not cheating and all that kind of stuff. But all that can be done by the same systems we already deployed right now, which is centralized. And it really does. And that's a basic understanding of trustless systems and all that. But beside the fact, the community, mostly the gaming community, right? You can look back in what was that one game, the Star Trek game? God, my mind is gone. It was a while ago. But you can see many times where the gaming community has risen up against in-game pay-to-play kind of schemes and all that kind of stuff. There's massive hate towards games developers that add pay-to-play and all that kind of stuff. And the unfortunate part about it right now, a lot of the cryptocurrency stuff has been just used as a scam to get pay-to-play into scam games. You can look at Cryptoland or Voxel, Crypto Voxels, or any of these scam tokens that run in the Ethereum blockchain. It is just full of scams, selling games that will never be made to get money out of dumb consumers. And it's a sad thing.
I'd say that, that's the case of everything in life, though, whether it's NFTs, games, or anything else. There's always scammers. Look at the telemarketers that call us every day that ask us, some people fall for the fact that they're
Exactly, but
saying,
how?
I have somebody in India trying to send you $5,000 if you just give me your bank accounts. I mean, there's scammers everywhere, but I do feel that, it is, while there might be people who, you express that there are people with extreme hate, there's also people who enjoy the NFT arena and who are out there promoting their artwork and actually enjoy it. So there's other avenues for NFTs besides just in-game purchases.
But you
And,
know how?
in the gaming community, there's also artists
Yeah.
who are out there using this for their own promotion of their work.
But you know how the NFT, the NFT doesn't store any artwork. It just points to a URL, right? You can actually look at the blockchain, grab the URL out of there, steal the artwork, and you have a copy of the artwork. There's nothing there that protects artwork, artists. In many cases, artists are taken advantage of. There are so many stories of artists having their work stolen and put on the blockchain and not having anything they can do about it. It's not helping artists. It's not helping musicians. It's not helping anybody. It is just a scam. It's a yeah.
I will speak to the point of that there have been many times that a piece of art would be put up not in collaboration with the actual artist. Like a friend of mine who was a UFC 1 fighter, we've tried to mint work on his name without actually gaining the licenses, and that is an issue. However, isn't the purpose of NFTs to be able to verify
Not a
it's
bit.
coming from as well?
It can't be because it has to be the government. The government doesn't see that as an actual contract or anything legal, which means you have no recourse. The government, you bring it to court, they'll look at you and like you're retarded or something. They'll look at you and go, so it's the URL is posted on a blockchain. How is that any different than sticking it on Amazon S3 and having a website point at it? It doesn't prove
Right, and that's
ownership.
where we
It's just,
could. Yeah, I
I'm sorry.
I see what you're saying. I guess I'm just saying that I think there can be an improvement on how we regulate, I guess, say, licensing agreements.
And go to the government
However,
and force them to do it, but they're not going to do it. It's not going to work
Okay.
that way. I'm sorry.
Well, I think
I'll
I
mute
think we're
myself
at
now.
a pass here because, I mean, everybody's entitled to their opinions, and there are definitely, there's always haters, and then there's always people who are enjoying what they're doing as well. So, we do have another question here. So let's go to DJ and ask, and let's hear DJ's question.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed this conversation, by the way. It was really, really amazing. I did also develop my own, blockchain about like 2, 3 years ago, and it was a lot of fun learning it and just really all that. And the NFT part, really, talking about grabbing a copy of someone's artwork and stuff like that. It's like you go and purchase a copy of Mona Lisa doesn't mean that you own Mona Lisa. Someone actually owns that. That's the whole point of NFT. That's the main version that someone owns. And so that's just how NFT really works. And so just wanted to ask that, sorry, if we wanted to, I got in late and I apologize, but really great information. If we wanted to connect with you and your website and services, how do we find you again? Except Instagram. I heard that you had a website, but you were cutting in and out for me. You could repeat that,
yeah.
please.
So it's bingedigital.com.
Yeah, perfect.
Looking to Web3 that too, but right
Yeah.
now we're
Oh, absolutely.
bingedigital.com.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing to add. I wanted to mention this, but already City Girl mentioned this. This is to me the day one was like a game. I came here to play around and all that stuff, but then became my second really reality. I'm here every day socializing with a bunch of my good friends, and my idea is that any publicity is good publicity, and it's just basically if you're using this platform or whatever else platform. I don't do online gaming. I'm a heavy gamer. Never go online to play game. I understand what you're saying about that community. It just not my thing. But this one, I'm here like every day, socializing, making friends, and learning from like some of the amazing people, and that have like made some great progress in sale, and yourself, like the stuff that you shared, Daniel, that was fantastic. And so, yeah, I just wanted to mention that because this is not really a game. I don't know what the power is here, and I apologize. This is not exactly related to what we're talking about here, but uh, this is really a community, and bringing us together in a social way so we can actually learn
Absolutely.
from each other, and make progress really and push these things forward.
Absolutely a social app and a community in here. And
Mhm.
there's like you stated, DJ, there's education, there's community, there's socialization, there's events, there's worlds to visit. It's not so much competition as was spoken about. We're not competing against each other to try to tear each other down. We're building each other up, and we're creating a larger socialization here, and the positive of it. Do we have any other questions? Okay. Well, I want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's definitely a very interesting interview. You're covering so many different areas and all the things that you're working on. I appreciate all that you're doing to try and help out with, the African community, as well as, all of the other initiatives you're taking to help empower these companies that are trying to bring, social positives to the world. So thank you for that. And everyone else, hope you'll join us next week on Tuesday night for Raindrops. We're going to look at the Lana program that they have going on. And don't forget to DM us for your POAP for tonight's episode. Thank you all for coming. And if you jump up here on stage, we're going to take our group photo.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you for this really great conversation.
Well, thanks for
It was great.
information.
Thank you for
It's
for
fantastic.
not being offended. I hope I didn't offend you.
Not at all. I
Exactly.
think
That
I
was
could learn a
great
lot from you. Thank
conversation.
you.
I'm just passionate about it. Sorry.
No, that's beautiful. That's what I love to be around. It's very helpful to me too. It's definitely still learning like all.
Hey, DJ.
Hello.
Everything's breaking down.
You can join us up here on stage if you'd like to take our group photo.
God, there must be a sheet.
Where's my headset jumping? Oh my gosh.
Everyone throw up some
There's a
hearts.
shader somewhere or something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, Blue.
Thank you.
Don't look in that
Have you
direction.
already bought
There's
that
a
one in the
million
corner over
polygons
there?
or something.
I
That is
know,
like-
right? I love that
That
one in
is
the
like
corner.
It's
total
perfect for you,
like
Blue.
something
I
that
know
would
it's like
be
blue with moons. It's
Thank you,
perfect.
Gabrielle.
everything. Like,
Good,
I
love her.
love it.
Thank
This was
you.
great
Thanks for
somewhere.
having me. I appreciate you guys.
Of course, it was very interesting to learn about all the things you're doing. And I did download Teleport, like I said, so I'm going to go on there and play around with it. What I saw on it so far looked interesting. So,
I'm glad. Yes, I would love to introduce you to the founder.
oh, I would love that.
Sorry.
That would be wonderful.
Mute yourself.
You
I
could
just
get him
took
on
you
here
off
as
of
well.
Amplify. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll connect you guys through
Can't look that way.
DM.
Yeah, that would be great. And then I
No,
wanted to
it's like
talk to you
something
still, like
going on
Jerome
here.
and I wanted to talk to you about some of the other things we talked about.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Perfect.
Blue, by the way, that artist, her name's Shelly Bruce again, just so you know. And
Hey,
I'll
Brandon,
DM
how's it going,
to you.
man?
She's an amazing
Yeah.
healer here in LA.
Oh yeah. Oh nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
I think you'd
picture. I love
appreciate
that
her.
picture.
You look
Mhm.
Yeah, and there's a
very
there's
nice.
a
Look at that.
transcripted poem to it. So when
Oh
you
really?
get the NFT, there's also a poem and music, sound healing.
Oh nice. Yeah.
Right?
But yeah, just
I love
just
it.
message me the artist name and and I'll look her up. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, I'm following you.
Where's it
I
at?
was just coming
I'll
down to
see it
look
now.
at it. It's such a beautiful
We're
piece.
good.
Hey.
Oh
No,
yes.
It really is.
I think it's just
Good
the
stuff. Really good
overlapping.
stuff. That was
Yeah, we had a
good
really
conversation. I
great
love
in
that.
real life experience during the drop. and we did
Cool
a
picture.
I
sound
did see this
bath.
side.
We had
Yeah.
some
Mm.
Yeah.
community cocktails. It was really beautiful. It was very social and impactful.